She's coming.
She'd be here by now.
Yeah, I know.
I don't see any other folks here.
No, I'll just drive down. I have none.
Make it quick and easy. I got to take my mom to the doctor.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You know, what are all these little kids out here from? Okay. We have pretty good opposition.
Hope. Hey, Hope.
He wasn't reported to as opposition.
No. Sorry. I told him. Just going back to work. You know what she just said? You're not the boss of me.
Yeah, we'll do the presentation before then.
I know.
Dr. Hamilton. Here, old self. Doc. He's back there. Give that Dr. Hamilton.
Doc Hamilton.
Ready. Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Joe, you ready?
I know. And where's this?
If it's not, it's closed. We'll find out. I had, when there wasn't anything going on. Yeah.
Hey, man.
I don't have anybody from District 2 here to do the invocation. Chris, you do the invocation.
That doesn't mean nap time.
All right, everyone. Good morning. It's about 7 after 9, and we do have a quorum present. So at this time, I'd like to call to order the October 7th meeting of the Jefferson County Commission. Ms. DiLiberto, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Ammon.
Here.
Commissioner Nine.
Here.
Commissioner Scales.
Present.
Commissioner Tyson. Commissioner Stevens.
I'm present. Thank you. Our invocation today is going to be performed by Mr. Chris Willis and Othell Phillips. If you would do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Dear Lord, we come before you now and thank you for this day and thank you for all these assembled here. We pray that you'll be with everyone that was affected by the weather last night and be with everyone today that's responding to that. Be with the ones today doing your business and your will. And we ask these things in your name.
Amen.
Amen.
Attention. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, we have the approval of the minutes on the agenda. Had the commission meeting of September the 23rd and September the 30th, which was a reconvened meeting. Are there any additions, corrections, or revisions to these minutes?
I'll move to dispense with the reading of the minutes and approve as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Begin the presentations. Commissioner Knight, I know you have a recognition. Trustful High School softball team, 7A champions. Congratulations.
All right. photographer's radio. Coach, you come here. All right, here we are. Resolution. Whereas it is the policy of the Jefferson County Commission to recognize achievements by those who have impacted our community for the better. And whereas the Hewitt Trustful Huskies claimed their second consecutive AHSAA 7A championship May 21st, 2021 in Signature Stadium at Chocolaco Park, Oxford, Alabama by defeating Fairhope 16-4 in the title game. And whereas the Hewitt Trustful Huskies 2021 record was 49-3-1 is the best in school history. They attained the number 3 ranking in the United States in the USA Today Sports. Whereas by their performance, the players and coaches have brought special recognition to the city of Trustful and to Jefferson County, Alabama, for not only their athletic abilities, but their dedication to high standards of discipline and devotion, which inspires all students to accomplish their goals. And whereas Coach Taylor Burt and assistant coaches Felicia Gullidge, Emily Glover, Jim Bales, Maddie Dorset, and Lee Boyette are to be commended for their hard work, patience, and skills in leading the Hewitt Trustful Huskies with back-to-back Class 7A state softball championships. And whereas there are too many individual honors on this Hewitt Trustful team, but every player of this championship is a special person who will carry this championship with her for the rest of her life. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Commissioner Joe Knight and the Jefferson County Commission in Birmingham, Alabama does hereby recognize the 2021 Hewitt Trustful Husky softball team as the AHSAA Class A 7A Girls Softball Champions. All right. Gentlemen, may I bring the ladies up?
Of
and
course.
Shoot a picture up here. Come on, please. Oh, sorry.
You want to go up here?
Yes, come up here.
That's close.
All right, which one of y'all wants this?
Me.
All right,
Wait a minute. Where's the hammer right there?
yeah, now, which one wants to be commissioner, take Commissioner Knight's place for the day?
Y'all keep going.
Yes.
Which one wants to take Commissioner Ammons?
I got it.
Yeah, see?
See?
What?
See how easy we are
Why,
to
we
play?
have to go home? Oh, great.
Coach, you know what y'all.
Come on.
All
All right, so you guys need to scoot
Come
down
down here and
on this
All
end. There you go.
Goodness, okay.
Yeah.
Come on in. Coach T. No,
right,
one
come
of
on
y'all.
in here, girls. Let's go.
Y'all get on this.
Between the flags, yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Don't like this.
You can crop those two out on the end.
Yeah. That's not a good.
Okay, go the first one. 1, 2, 3. Come on. 1, 2, 3. Last one. 1, 2, 3.
Give these ladies a hand, everybody. Now we have multiple scholarships amongst this team. I think this one's going to Alabama. Wow. Yeah, man. We got one Cal's trying to sway to go ahead and commit to Auburn.
She's got called out. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
They are special.
I'm sorry, it's
Thank
a little
you
bit,
so much.
a little bit delayed.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Hey,
Congrats.
hey, ladies, we're on. Y'all can step out here. But I want to ask y'all one thing. Tomorrow night, here it plays best.
No, they've already played.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well, go ahead. Congratulations on your win. Hey, but I will say, as they go out, I'll tell a little story. Anybody watch Monday Night Football the other night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vestavia was on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, the referee.
Well, unfortunately, it was on the Come On Man, which is not very pleasing. It's more derogatory than anything, where the quarterback is throwing the football, loses grip on it, hits the referee in the knee, pops up, the lineman catches it, and goes for a pick six. So I'll say it. Come on, man.
All right, everyone. Next on the agenda is something that we've been doing a great deal of lately, and it's all been very bittersweet for us. We have people that have served their time and have done a remarkable job, and they have now chosen to go to the life of retirement and move to the beach or the lake or wherever that would be. And one of those is Hope McCockle. Hope's been here. I've been here a long time now, and Hope watched me come in the door and has done a great job for the county attorney's office and Mr. Lawson and everyone else. She's not just an employee. Hope is a friend, and over these years we've grown to really appreciate the things that she does and the skill set that she has in the county attorney's office. Would the county attorneys please come up with me as I read this resolution to Hope? Hope, would you come up, please? And then I'm going to turn the microphone over to County Attorney Theo Lawson, because this is a very special event, Hope. And I didn't bring my readers, and Theo offered me his, but I've been able to get through most of these. Let's see if I can do this. Whereas it gives the Jefferson County Commission great pleasure in recognizing achievement by those who have positively impacted the county. And whereas Hope Cockrell was born in Birmingham, I'm not going to tell you how old you are, and lived most of her life in Jefferson County. And whereas Hope Cockrell started her career at Jefferson County in August of 1991 as a legal secretary for the county attorney's office, and ascended to the position of senior administrative analyst in the county attorney's office. And whereas Hope Cockrell faithfully is what I tell you, faithfully served in the county attorney's office for 30 years under the county attorneys, and whereas Hope Cockrell successfully supported 8 assistant county attorneys and supervised the entire staff of the Jefferson County's office, and whereas Hope Cockrell has displayed courage and calm under extreme and adverse circumstances, including the county's bankruptcy and personnel consent decree. And whereas Hope Cockrell is known to all as a woman of great faith and upstanding moral character, a woman of grace and strength. And whereas Hope Cockrell has a loving and supportive family, including her husband, Steve, daughters, Kayla and Sydney, son-in-law, Joseph Garner, and her precious grandson, Barrett. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Jefferson County Commission hereby commends Hope Cockrell and expresses its sincere appreciation for the loyal and faithful service for 30 years. This is adopted by the entire Jefferson County Commission. This is the 7th day of October, 2021. Hope it's with reluctance, but great pleasure and gratitude that we present you this resolution for 30 years. Now you have 30 minutes.
Y'all take your minutes. No, put it back on.
Here, I'll do mine up here and let y'all get in this one. All right, before we go up and take a picture with the commission, you have to say something, and Theo has something that he's going to do now.
So we all knew this day was coming as much as we regretted it, and I put the handcuffs back up because we were just going to lock you in the closet somewhere and keep you for 30 more years. Not much more to say that has already been said. We appreciate all of the expertise, the ability to herd cats in the county attorney's office. She has kept us straight, I know, for at least 17 years of my time here. We're going to miss her. We're all going to miss her, but we know that we could not beat out the new grandson. So in addition to, if I can get this out without messing up, in addition to your resolution, the office wanted to get a little something so that as you look up as you're chasing the kids around. But this is with our deepest appreciation that we present this to you for 30 years of service and putting up with us. We love you.
Thank you.
Your turn.
Okay, Hope, now you have your 30 minutes, huh?
Oh, please. 30 seconds, maybe. I didn't really prepare anything. I didn't think I would be saying anything, but I've been with the county for 30 years, a little over. I've seen a lot, good and bad, but mostly good. I love the people I work with. I've had some of the best bosses, and the absolute best one is right here. I worked for several, but he was by far my favorite. And I'm going to miss all of them. I'm looking forward to my grandson and my family, spending time with them, but I will miss everyone here. And the county's been very good to me, and I appreciate it. Thank y'all very much.
Theo, y'all want to come up here and get a quick picture? We'll do 2 sets or maybe 3 sets. We'll do the county attorney's office. Right here, too. You want to be set. And that'll be kind of a little bit better around thing, and then the commissioner will come out. You have to sit back.
I know, I always
Let's do this. Sure. Theo, come here and grab this right here. Now, y'all are sitting in the back. Y'all need to come up to the front now. This is y'all. Some get over this way. And we'll get in the next picture.
I'm going to do 3, just in case someone closes their eyes. We got 1. 2, 3. Go ahead and knock.
Now we get a chance. Yeah. Would you like to come up and walk?
At the conclusion, we invite everybody to have cupcakes and coffee. Get little farewells at the conclusion of the meeting.
That'll work. All right, you want?
Cal said that was the quietest he's ever seen a bunch of lawyers.
Congratulations, honey.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Yeah. Now moving to the public hearing portion of our commission agenda. We have some zoning cases. The first is Z210016. That's the estate of William Lee Kyle, would be the owner. Sharmon Yates, his agent, requests a change of zoning from A1 to light industrial to consolidate zoning on a property for sales and repair of automobiles, off-road vehicles, boats, and equipment trailers. This is located on 3312 Mount Olive Road, Mount Olive, Alabama. Michael's not here. You're going to handle that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Okay. As you've already said, this is KZ 2116, the application of Sharman Yates for the consolidation of zoning from A1 to I1, agricultural and light industrial district to light industrial district for the purpose of sales and repair of automobiles, off-road vehicles, boats, equipment, trailers, in the Mount Olive community. More importantly, the Planning and Zoning Committee is recommending approval, and there was no opposition from surrounding neighbors at the Planning and Zoning Committee meeting.
And they have agreed to the conditions that were stipulated?
Yes, sir.
And there are three constituents, individuals that have signed to speak, but they are all three in for this particular item. So at this time, I'd like to open a public hearing for case Z210016. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak against this particular zone? Seeing no opposition, is there anyone that would like to speak for it? Now, usually, I just
you
give
might
you
be
kind of
ahead.
I'll tell you ahead. You know, you're ahead right now. That means that there's no opposition. I'll ask you, are you sure you want to talk? And this is my district, so I think we're talking. I think wise choice. All right, we're going to close the public hearing at this time, and Chair will entertain a vote. Been moved.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. There you go. Aye. Aye. 4-0. Thank you, lady. Our next case, why don't you go ahead and do the whole thing?
Yes, sir. This is case Z-21-17 is the application of Cindy Birchfield for a map amendment from I-3 industrial to A1 agricultural. The property's in the Brickwood neighborhood. at the address 14086 Rock House Road. The Planning and Zoning Committee is recommending approval of this map amendment, and there was no opposition at the Planning and Zoning Committee from surrounding neighbors.
Okay. Like to open a public hearing at this time for Z210017. Is there anyone in the audience who speak in opposition to this? Anyone for? Close the public hearing at this time.
I'll move the item.
Second.
Item's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. 4-0. Thank you very much. Next is Z210018.
Yes, sir. As mentioned, this is Z-21-18. It's the application of Attic Plus. This is a request of a map amendment from R1 single family to C1 commercial for a mini warehouse. Properties located in the Oxmoor Valley neighborhood at 360 Happy Lane. And the Planning and Zoning Committee is recommending approval with 8 stipulations or conditions. There was opposition from neighbors in the surrounding neighborhood. If you like, I can read these 8 conditions into the record, or you may go ahead and open the public hearing if you like.
I think that we have 5 people out that have requested to speak.
Yes, sir.
I think they will pretty much
Okay.
say what them. We have 1 for who is the owner. At this time, I would like to open a public hearing for Z210018. The owner is here.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to come up and present your case?
Yes, sir.
Now, is this begin with state your name and your address,
Yes, sir.
and the
Yes, sir. If we get
the location of the property? It's right off of Lakeshore? Is that where it is?
Off West Oxmoor Road, sir.
West Oxmoor.
Yes, sir. And if you're going down Lake Shore, kind of away from Sanford, hang a left on West Oxmoor, and where it kind of splits at the Circle K. We're just right across the street from the Circle K. My name's Cortland Davis with Attic Plus Storage, 4748 Cahaba River Road, Birmingham, Alabama, 35243. We're a small family Jefferson County based business. Been in the neighborhood about 20 years or so. We'd appreciate the county's consideration on letting us rezone half of a piece of property, and it would be the half that's closest to our existing self-storage, so that we could add another self-storage. The other half that runs across Happy Lane would be left residential, and we would be building 5 houses on that part of it.
Yeah, for some reason we're having some computer issues this
Well,
morning.
I brought a backup copy here. It's all right. I'd like to
Sure.
bring this up here.
Do you have a plat or a map layout where how the new storage will
Yes,
be
sir.
sitting on the property?
Yes, sir. I've got that. I kind of brought that as a cheat sheet for myself, but
Yeah, any more of them cheat sheets?
Yeah. Yeah. We got it. How far is this from the residential?
Here's the existing facility, West Oxmoor, Circle K. This is a dentist office. This is residential. This is residential. That's residential. There's only one house. That's vacant. That's vacant. So this is Happy Lane. It comes off and goes down, and these are houses. So what we're proposing is to put houses on Happy Lane.
Sir, do you have that in any kind of presentation? I mean, you're showing one commissioner
Oh,
per person
well,
here.
Well,
What
actually,
are you talking about?
we submitted all of this, and it's digital.
yeah,
Do
we're
we
trying
have
to pull
that?
that up, Mr. Knight.
Okay. I've got that, but he's pointing to stuff. I'm trying to follow.
Madam Pro Tem.
I did have a question at the appropriate time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You want to turn it off? You want any look? All right. I mean, is it laminated this bigger? Or is it
We were trying to, we'd submitted some renderings there.
Proposed, next to it.
Just scroll down.
And we're proposing residential lots on Happy West.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of the start of it there. And then.
How big will those lots be?
They're R1, so they gotta be 15,000.
Okay, and I got a rendition here, okay. How much of a buffer between those lots and the storage?
There's a 20-foot buffer, but the building's 50 feet from the property line. And what we did, we agreed to border this residential with a 100-foot buffer.
Where is the,
That's at the end of it.
time to wake up?
Now you've got different,
Where's
different.
the house
at
at
the top here.
There's
But
one
that's,
house here.
oh no, those are
That's
zoning
vacant. That's vacant.
cases.
Well, we've got the big book. We might have to.
So the houses
see the
are
big book if that's all right, sir.
Team, hold on. Oh wait,
You got all the stuff.
so you're looking.
Yeah, I do. Just show me real quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've got
Here's the existing.
on the area.
Right.
Okay.
West Oxmoor.
That's Happy Lane.
That's Happy
Yeah,
Lane.
okay.
Residences
This
here.
is, that's what we're proposing.
Okay.
Dentist,
Stay and drive.
vacant,
Stay and drive, just in case.
houses are here.
Okay.
So we've given a 100-foot buffer against residential. So this guy in this house will be looking in.
And which road is?
That's Leisure Lane, sir.
That's Leisure Lane. That comes down to this house.
Okay. Okay, I got you right there. All right. Good deal.
You have a pointer?
Do I have a pointer that y'all?
Yeah. Was he still giving his presentation?
I don't think they do. You can tell me where it's
I do what now? Okay.
Is it that one?
Okay, gentlemen.
It's
This
not
is the time for you to be making your case.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't know what all documents y'all had or didn't have, but basically, this area is what we'd like to rezone for the self-storage there. It would only be accessed, the self-storage would only be accessed by our existing self-storage property. There would be no big trucks, no traffic, no moving trucks, anything on Happy Lane up here. We would build 5 houses. The existing storage originally had a 30-foot buffer, and our neighbors behind us here, the Parker family, expressed that they thought that would be too close to their house, and so we literally chopped 70 feet off the building, and so this would be a 100-foot buffer up here. The neighborhood is already got commercial and residential zoning in it. There's a Circle K gas station directly across the street from us. These are apartments. Our neighbor over here is a dentist office, and we've got a retirement community up here as well. And we would just like to be allowed to add on to our existing self-storage with also adding some homes to the neighborhood. And that's all we're trying to do, sir.
Okay, let me, how many units do you have presently? That's those two little big down there on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've got about 250 units there total right now.
And how much do you want to add?
We'd be adding, it would come out to be about another 200 units there.
And you propose 2-story?
It's 2-story on, if you're looking at it from the front, it would be 2-story, but on the back, it would be 1-story. And due to the layout of the land, sorry for jumping, I'm glad I wore my tennis shoes today. The land actually slopes down this way, so with the buffer and the topography, you would not be seeing the storage building from Happy Lane or Leisure Lane there. To be looking at the building from here, it would be, and I think that's one of the renderings, it would be 2 stories, but it's got a drive going around it there, and it would just be 1 story on the top.
I'm just curious. How will people get in and out of those on the second floor?
It would have a drive that goes around the back there.
Okay, so it's a through and through.
Yes, sir. On one of this is actually the second floor right here with the drive in front of it.
Oh, okay.
And it's just got drives that go up on either side of it, sir.
And the access would be through your current property?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No access whatsoever on Happy Lane or
so no new curb cuts?
Lane.
No new curb cuts?
No, sir. The only new traffic that would be on Happy Lane would be from the families that would be living in the 5 homes there.
So actually, it is a 2-story facility, but when you look at it, the access to the backside is actually at ground level.
Yes, sir.
So you're actually building a unit, I guess, concrete floor,
Yes, sir.
suspended concrete floor on.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Why were y'all turned down before?
I believe that was a different piece of property, sir. We were trying originally to do a building that, continuing buildings on that. It was a little before my time, but my understanding is the buildings the original plan was just bring them on back, and that piece of property could not be rezoned at the time.
If I may clarify very quickly, actually it's the same plot of land, and the entire plot, that 4+ acres, was zoned commercial, and the self-storage units that were being proposed at the time actually backed up to Happy Lane, and so there would be commercial activity, ingress and egress onto Happy Lane, and that was why the neighbors opposed that particular plan.
Okay, that was a little before my time. I apologize about that. But in sticking with the neighborhood on having commercial and residential already in the neighborhood, and to keep our neighbors happy on Happy Lane, that's why on this plan, we would like to do houses on the top half and then storage on the bottom half with a very thick buffer for our neighbors on Leisure Lane.
And all those are part of the planning and zoning recommendations, what we're discussing here on the no access from Happy Lane.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Those 8 requirements.
Directed lighting, so there's no light leakage.
Yes, and I think on the, I don't know how much of a good rendering it is, but on the renderings, you'll see the lights. Might be better on the first one here. Sorry. Yeah, I mean the lights we have over the doors shine down.
That's the only light.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No pole lighting, no stadium lighting, no anything like that.
And then final design has to be approved by planning and zoning. Is that correct?
Anything else, John?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I'll remind everyone we're still in our public hearing process. We have Kathy and Rich Humphrey who are against this, and Carol Chestnut and Bud Mosley and Latasha Parks. Do we have a spokesperson, or are all? Is it? Or do we have different?
I think we're going to have at least 2, maybe 3.
Okay, well that'll be fine. Let's go ahead and begin with you, sir.
Okay.
State your name and address.
Yes, Rich Humphrey, 333 and 321 Happy Lane.
Okay, Rich.
Those are contiguous properties. One of them's our residence. We've been down there for over 30 years. We love it down there. We were part of the case 22 years ago, which was, and I think y'all have it in your working papers, that was Z97-127 back in 1977, or excuse me, 1997. The request is, I won't say identical, but it's very similar, very virtually identical to the one before, with the exception of what they've proposed here with the 5 lots along Happy Lane. We don't struggle with that so much because we're predominantly 80% residential down there. And we've never particularly been opposed to commercial as long as it was up along Oxmoor. And the zoning map that I got out of the zoning office, you can see the red is there at the top, which is on the map here. That's the existing commercial, including the existing mini storage that they put in 20 years ago. And now they want to come in with half, roughly, of the 4.1 acres and do a phase 2 and double that size. So for us, as long as it was up on the top of West Oxmoor and not encroaching down into what we sometimes call the Cove, down Happy Lane, Leisure Lane, and Blackstock, we've never really been opposed to it. Plus, I've got a real estate banking career background, and there's the right kind of commercial and there's the wrong kind of commercial. Mini storage, with all due respect to the applicant, is not the kind of commercial that we wanted down there. Again, we're 80% residential. They'll double the space. They'll double the size of the footprint. Their net operating income will go up, which will drive the value of that commercial income property up, and that will potentially be at the expense of the property owners and the homeowners down there. The biggest impact will be on the Parks family, Tasha and Eric. Tasha's here today. I think she wants to say something later on. And it just is not a good fit. It wasn't a good fit 22 years ago. It was a spot zoning request then. That's still basically the primary argument for us today, is that it's spot zoning. We had Doug Coretti, who was our advisor back then, the late Doug Coretti. Some of y'all may remember him. A great real estate attorney, probably the best real estate attorney in the state of Alabama for his generation. He agreed with us, gave us a little counsel on it, and we presented basically the same case we're presenting today in opposition to it. And I'll just very quickly go over those points with you, if I may. I think y'all had it submitted to you. I had the memo sent to y'all here about a week or so ago, or maybe it was first of the week. But again, the change in zoning is the same as it was 22 years ago in case Z97-127. It was unanimously declined then by the commissioners that sat there then. It's spot zoning. The contrast between an income property and the value derived from that, and the contrast of a residential property and what drives that fair market value, it's going to be drastically different. It'll also set the tone for changing the neighborhood considerably, and we think, as we did 22 years ago, it will pave the way for other spot zonings that could occur in the future. Think about it like this. If you're the Parks or you're us, you come down Happy Lane, you look off immediately to the right, you're going to see a pretty big 2-story building there. And even with the single-family residential lots, that's going to be in their backyard. I would think that would be a potentially big marketing problem if you're trying to build houses or sell lots to a builder or something like that. Again, we're not opposed necessarily to that aspect of it. We do have concerns about access, widening. That hill right here, if I can just point it out briefly, when you come in, you turn in, you go right past Dr. Zima's office, you start to rise right here. If you're not careful because of the right-of-way that's there now, the paved right-of-way, cars coming and going out, you can hit each other. So when you put those 5 lots in, there needs to be sufficient setbacks all the way around, but particularly along the frontage along Happy Lane, so that if Happy Lane ever needs to be widened, and that's been considered, I think, going back 40 years, is my understanding, that can be taken into account in order to help the rest of the community down there as you go into the code. What's compatible commercial property? Well, I would say Dr. Zima's dental office is the depot there. It's been there for years, even before Dr. Zima opened her practice there over 20 years ago. It fits. You've got the assisted living facility there that the Church of Christ did originally and sold it off. It's basically an assisted living facility for elderly people. It's residential in nature. You've got apartments over here that you can see. That's residential in nature. So again, we're just very sensitive with what type of commercial zoning happens and where as you push in off West Oxmoor and come down Happy Lane. Real quickly, I'll try to keep going real fast here. Impact of that commercial use relative to other people around it, in particularly the Parks family. There's plenty of mini storage around West Oxmoor. Within a mile or less of there, you've got 4 out of 5 properties. So they're there to be serviced. And we think that's another point that we made last time as well. And I would just point out, too, that please remember, north of the intersection of West Oxmoor and Lakeshore is where most of the commercial development has been for years, going back decades. When you start going south of there, heading our way, yeah, there's some here and there, but it's really predominantly residential in nature. And I know 22 years ago, we had people over in Huntington Park, we had people over in Camden Park. They were very much opposed to it too. Now, again, they're not in our immediate area, but they're right across Shades Creek from us. And then we made this point 22 years ago, and I want to make it again. Whatever could be redeveloped down there one day, if it is, needs to be done with a carefully sought out, comprehensive zoning plan that everybody has input in. Now, that might be some developer that comes to all of us one day and says, hey, here's what we're thinking about. Maybe we can work out something where people who want to stay, you can stay. People who might not want to stay, we'll work something out. But we made that point 22 years ago, comprehensive zoning plan with careful planning and input from all the property owners down there is what's really key for the future. And we're certainly open to that. And we said that 22 years ago. Buffers that you see on the renderings that are in the packages and that I've seen in the file look great. But right now, that parcel is predominantly, I'd say probably 75%, maybe more. It's kudzu bushes, some trees kind of on that southeastern corner down there where the Parks family lives. That buffer to grow in that you'll see on the renderings on the CAD that's been done looks great, but it'll take probably 20 years to grow in. So again, you've got this impact of this commercial property that really doesn't fit. It's not complementary. It just doesn't fit for us down there, just like it did 22 years ago. Dr. Zima has some parking issues. She's had to expand her business. She's doing very well there in recent years. You turn in there, she's usually got a full parking lot when she's working there on those days. And just there's a lot of things that have to be really carefully worked out as you go down Happy Lane, not only today with this request, but in the future as well. And that's probably it for right now. I won't take up any more time because I know there's a couple other parties in our group that want to speak as well. Thanks for hearing us.
Anybody, you or anybody else put forth a comprehensive plan or rendering or anything that you talked about that y'all thought was a good idea 22 years ago?
No, sir, other than we just suggested that was the way to address everything down there going forward. And we said that to the zoning board then and the commission then. Of course, as you well know, people go their own different ways and everybody gets busy and they kind of forget about that. But again, we're not opposed to that is what I'm saying. But I think that's the way that you address these things going forward in the future, just like when it first came up 22 years ago.
We had Commissioner Scales wanted to address it. Are you on, Commissioner Scales?
Mr. President, I think I pretty much kind of got my question answered because I did know that there were residents that were there this morning. Typically, I'm very interested in if there's a development that's near residential property, what is the opposition in terms of why they do not want it, and it seems as though I've heard that clearly this morning.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Hammonds.
Rich, good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Been a long time.
Thank you.
My question is on what you said, you said spot zoning, and I guess the question is not for you, but more for staff, is how does that relate to spot zoning? Because I see adjacent, and you mentioned it, Rich, is the C1 is adjacent. So could you kind of get staff to explain, and then kind of, Rich, if you want to follow up.
Sure.
I'm going to have Willie explain spot zoning for you, but I wanted to let the citizen know that we are embarking upon a countywide comprehensive plan, and that would be actually a year-long process. So we would appreciate you to participate in that.
I would be very happy. I think all of us would be very happy to be part of that. Okay, so this is the county's existing zoning map. Okay, so you can see the title there. That appears to be orange. What the existing zoning is R1 single family. The reason this is not a spot zoning case is because this property is contiguous on two sides to commercial. Typically, spot zoning is where you have a single zoning district that's completely surrounded on all four sides by a zoning classification that is different than the parcel that's in the middle of it. It's just like an island surrounded by a sea of other zoning classifications. In this case, that's not the case. This would not be a spot zoning case.
In the past, was that commercial back in 1997, the last time it came through?
I think it's the exact same scenario, actually. The one difference is that this current applicant is proposing residential that will face Happy Lane. You have to look at this as the highest and best use for this property. What I heard the neighbors suggest were actually commercial uses, an assisted living care facility, a dental office. All of those are commercial activities. What the applicant is proposing is that these would be 5 residential lots, which would certainly be a lot less in intensity than the 2 commercial uses that the neighbor suggested. I'm neither for or against. I'm middle of the road as far as this case is concerned. But there's just a lot I heard that's necessarily untrue in terms of planning and zoning theory. And I'll just stop right there unless you have other questions for me.
Probably a good idea.
And
Go ahead, Mr. Humphrey.
I would just say very quickly, Mr. Coretti 22 years ago was in agreement that he did think it was spot zoning. Again, we're not opposed to commercial zoning per se because we have it at the top. It's more of, is this complementary with the rest of the 80% of the neighborhood that's residential? And in particular, the impact on the Parks family. I mean, my goodness, you come out their front door, this thing is right there. Now, they've given a concession, proposed a concession with a 100-foot buffer for them, which is nice. But again, it's going to impact their property value in some way, shape, or form going forward once that's built. And it will have indirect and direct influence on the rest of the code, as we call it.
Where do you live in this?
Right here.
And as we do that, it's a good segue to Ms. Parks. If you come up, you'll be our next speaker.
These two parcels right here, and this Parks who's coming up is right here. Right down to
Maybe we ought to invest in
Yeah, we're going to get a pointer.
pointers.
I've already asked to put a order in.
Theo's heart rate goes up whenever somebody jumps up on the bench.
How are you, Ms. Parks?
Oh, I'm fine.
Good to see you. If you'd state your name and where you live.
Okay. I'm Latasha Parks, and I live in 2435 Leisure Lane. As you can see, the property
Yeah.
So,
This one right here.
I'm not climbing up on the bench. And my husband, Eric, he had, it's been kind of hectic for him at work, and he would be here today, so I'm here representing him and me. As you know, I'm not going to go through a drawn-out story like I did last time, but I just wanted to mention the beginnings of how we found this property. We were, a small family just looking to make sure we have a place to settle comfortable enough and safe enough for our children. And so I was prayerful about it. And I'm a woman of faith, and I just prayed, God, please, could you give me a piece of the country right in the city? Okay? And it took us nearly a year until we saw this property before, and then the owner had brought the price down. And I was like, it's right here, saying it's right here. And lo and behold, my husband found it by the grace of God. And I was like, this is exactly, what we were praying for. And he loved it. So for the first 7 years, we have machetes, went through about 5-6 lawnmowers, and cleared the property as much as possible. But it's just the perfect place. You're right in the middle of the city, but you got country living, per se. We did a lot to nurture the property around us, to be responsible enough, and also towards our neighbor, because we want the value to go up, fine. But we just enjoyed the fact that we got what we asked for. The two things that concern us, as well anybody here, no matter if you own the property that's going to be, that they're asking to be zoned for commercial, nobody wants a storage unit, to look out on their property if they own a home and see that, okay? That's disappointing for us. The second issue that we really have that I mentioned last time was that I'm concerned about the geography. I know you guys are going to do the structural, architectural, design and studies, but this land gets extremely saturated like now when it's raining. And our concern is from this point on, if you choose to proceed with this particular rezoning, if the structure right next to us, right here, or even our property, if it causes sinkholes, erosions. I know they're saying that they're going to do the drainage properly, but there's no guarantees, okay? So those are our two biggest concerns. Just the dynamic is going to change. We do appreciate that accommodations are made to make the buffer wider, but it's still, it changed the dynamic of what we wished and would hope for. But like I said last time, I know y'all have wisdom. I trust the Most High God for my wisdom. And regardless, maybe some of you are of faith, I just pray that y'all consider what it says in Ezra 8:22. Just consider and be prayerful before you make your final decision. And that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Barr.
Thank you.
We have time for one more. How about Carol Chestnut at Oxmoor Valley Orthodontics?
Yes, sir.
How are you, Ms. Chestnut?
I'm well, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. Dr. Seema and Dr. Haveron have a couple of concerns. First of all, we want to support our neighbors that are to the east of us, and we understand their concerns, and we can definitely appreciate their concern of wanting to keep the value of their residential property intact and the opportunity for it to appreciate in their years. If we could go back to the picture there, sir, that has the actual road, the live picture. Even though the plan we understand is to have the egress and the ingress on the south end. Already right now, due to the way I wish I had a pointer. Sir. Okay, great. Awesome. Sure. Thank you, sir. All right. So even though the ingress and the egress is going to be on the south end, we understand that. The amount of traffic that is already coming in because the way this lane is now set up so that there's no stopping except wherever this light is down here. People are flying down off that hill And our concern is also, and there's no light there, there's no caution there. So there's nothing to stop this lane that's coming here. And they come at a high rate of speed. There's been several accidents in the last 6 months there. So our concern is that as this continues to increase, I think he said 200 more units, that the amount of traffic that is going to be coming down this road and then leaving that road, because we assume that not only the Bluff Park area will be using the storage, but also West Homewood would be using the storage. So there would be more traffic coming this way. And if there's no consideration of having a light there, we feel like it will also be a danger not only to people trying to come into this area of Happy Lane, but also people that are trying to leave. So we have a concern for that. The other concern we have is the type of buffer that we're going to have in this area, because again, this is contiguous to part of our property, and the environmental side of that, how beautiful it is back there. We are concerned of what type of removal is going to occur in this area, as far as the environment, and as well as I think a good point was made. By the type of water, where that water is going to go. And because again, if it's just gravity fed, then a lot of that water is going to come down on this property. So that kind of summarizes what our concerns are. And we appreciate the opportunity to express them.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Before we go any further, Commissioner Ammons had to leave. I would like to remind everyone that we still have a quorum by way of the governor's resolution through our state of emergency. And so we have Commissioner Scales that is on Zoom and will be able to vote. Also, I'd like to inform everyone that this is a zoning issue, and it requires 3 affirmative votes, not a majority of those present, in order to move this forward. With that being said, we have one other speaker who has asked. That would be Mr. Bud Mosley.
Thank you, sir. Bud Mosley, 201 Blackstock Road. First of all, I'd like to apologize for the telephone a while ago. I thought it was off. One of my concerns, and this little lady hit on a lot of it, is road conditions. We fought it once before, and it's dangerous. My daughter was almost killed in that intersection. But it's a blind hill. It's a very narrow road, and the amount of damage to the road when the houses are being built, which is my main concern. I don't like to tell somebody what to do with their property, but there has to be something reasonable. I don't want nobody telling me what to do. But this is, it's a dangerous situation. And when all that construction goes for those houses, if there was another way to handle part of it, we dealt it with the church. And once we didn't really object to that, we had about 3 or 4 construction roads because they were not going to use Happy Lane. Next thing we knew that the agreement did not cover construction roads. 2 years we fought mud, tore up roads, vehicles parked in the road, can't get in, can't get out. It's just a dangerous situation. One point I would like to make, though, is we keep hearing residential. Actually, that land is not residential. That land's owned agricultural. I had a case to come up that I was involved in 2001. Doug Coretti was my attorney, and the only proof that they could come up with that was residential was a 1977 map that the county either couldn't find or would not bring to court because Doug wanted to see anything that said it had been changed to residential.
and me and my family's been there since 1940. On the left side, about roughly 9 acres on the left side of Blackstock Road. And we just need the best consideration we can get is to keep it everything, if it goes, keep everything safe and not tear up our roads and be inconvenient to us. That's what I ask for. I certainly thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Is anyone else like to speak to the board? Public hearing is now closed. Chair will consider a motion.
I have a question. Are we going to ingress and egress through Happy Lane or through the current?
No, sir, there won't be any ingress or egress off of Happy Lane. Ingress and egress will be through the Attic Plus self-storage facility existing building on, that's West Oxmoor Road.
I understand the opposition to it, but if you already have a storage facility there, they compromised and moved it back to accommodate the young lady. The testimony is that they wouldn't mind commercial, but they just don't like this type of commercial. The road issues are the road issues, but that's, you know, I guess it would be different to me if this was something new or a beer joint or something like that coming in there. I could understand. It's just a continuation of an expansion of an existing facility. It's already there. So I'm gonna make a motion to approve it.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Commissioner Scales, are you still there?
Commissioner Scales?
Hold on, I'm sorry. Excuse me, I thought that.
Okay.
Okay, are
Yes.
you still there?
All right, so you said that there was, has there already been a motion made on the floor? I want to hear you clearly.
There is a motion by Commissioner Knight to approve the change in zoning. We were looking for a second. And did you hear me when I explained that it would require 3 affirmative votes to move this forward?
Yes, and
Okay.
Is Commissioner Ammons in the room?
No, Commissioner Ammons has left. So it's you, Commissioner Knight, and myself.
Because I have to be honest with you, after hearing some of the concerns of the residents, that I'm just having trouble moving forward on it, and I know that it's only 3 of us, so, and I do understand the 3 affirmative votes.
Okay.
Well, I guess I hear no second.
I hear no second. That motion fails for a lack of a second. Is there another motion for the floor? Would you carry this over, or do you? Is there a motion, County Attorney? Without a motion, what's the disposition of this case? Remains the same.
Well, if it's not moved for approval, and it's
Move for approval, and it died for lack of a second.
Well, can we move it? Can we pass it when we got 5 commissioners here?
Sure.
All right. Well, then I would move to pass it.
So, Mr. President, are we asking for a carryover?
We are.
Next meeting, which would be October 21.
That's correct. I think you're going to have the same problem at that meeting also.
Yeah. No.
And
Well,
I would be
let's
more
just.
comfortable if there were to be a carryover that all 5 members are present.
Let's carry it over to further notice. Let's just carry it over to further notice.
We would carry it over to, how about the, we would need to tell everyone. All right.
You have a quorum. So what you're doing is saying, oh, well, we didn't get what we wanted.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We're not saying that at all. We're saying that motion died for a lack of a second. Now, if there's the only motion that we have on the floor is a
Mr.
motion.
President,
Yes.
Let me make sure, what we were voting on initially, just for my clarification, we were voting on, where Commissioner Knight, is that to deny this, this application?
No, it was to approve the application. It was to approve the application.
But the approval of the application was basically the expansion of the storage facility, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and that's what I had an objection to, because I'm not present, but that does concern me, the comments that were made by the residents in terms of how this could adversely impact their community. And so I am concerned about that, and I wish that that could be resolved in a much better way than what I've heard this morning.
And he offered an alternative motion, Commissioner, that he was offering to carry this over until what's our second meeting?
They may be able to meet with the developers and work something out. I don't know.
For the November the 4th meeting is when it would be carried over to. So,
well, I would say carry it over until further notice.
Mr. President, if there's no motion that is on the floor currently, I just wanted to make sure that that carryover is understood by the residents, that hopefully they would have come to at least a better resolve than where they are today. And if not, then a decision could be made conclusively at that point.
right. And if this is carried over, County Attorney, if this is carried over,
The testimony's still good, I think. Should be.
Sure, notice has been made, so it would be carried over. It's an extension of your public hearing at this point.
so at the time these residents would be noticed again.
Correct.
So they will receive that notice. So we're good on that. Residents, did you hear that? It's going to be carried over for reconsideration at a later date.
Well, there's a motion.
Consideration.
There's a motion to do that.
We haven't voted on that.
And you will also be noticed at that for the next. Now, it won't be a hearing. The hearing has been had now. And what it will be carried over for a vote to that date and time certain. It hasn't been determined yet.
Okay.
So the Commissioner Knight has made a motion.
Yeah, we hadn't voted on that yet. Okay.
And we have a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, so it's carried over for the vote.
If you don't mind, are there any other items? I'm absolutely late.
All right, we have 3 more zoning items that I would certainly appreciate it if you would stay. See, these are public hearings. We will do these all at one time.
I've stayed over, and
Please.
so now I'm about to get. I'm embarrassingly late at this point.
I understand. Let me run through this very quickly, and County Attorney, if I can do that. There were no opposition, and I plan to do those very quickly. You can sit down. I'm going to do it real quick. Z22, I like at this time consider 3 additional items for zoning. Z210019, which is Charles McPherson, owner, requests a change from A1 to E2. Z210020, William W. Crowder and Christy Mitchell, agent, requests a change of zoning from I3 to A1. In case Z210021, Harry Hayes and Kimberly Justice Hayes request a change in zoning from E2 and R1 back to A1. Is there anyone in the audience? I'd like to open the public here for case Z210019. Is there anyone in the audience speaking in favor of or in opposition to this?
I'm just here, Prager.
You're for it.
Anybody has questions, I'm here to answer questions.
Fine. Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience in opposition to this? Public hearing is now closed.
Move the item.
Item's been moved. Commissioner Scales?
Yes.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Case Z210020, William Crowder, owner. Is there anyone in the audience in opposition or in favor of this particular item? Public hearing is now closed.
Move the item.
Item's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Next is Z210021, Harry Hayes and Kimberly Justice Hayes, moving from E2 and R1 to A1. Like to open a public hearing. Public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience in opposition to her or in favor of this? Are you in opposition or in favor? All in favor? All right. This public hearing is now closed.
Move the item.
Items have been motion moved, seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
I move.
We have 38 resolutions on the consent agenda. I have a motion to move resolutions 1 through 38. Do we have a second, Commissioner? All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Scales. Would you like to address the body before you leave?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, thank you very much, Commissioner. Now, we had to run through that very, very quickly, and that's not our normal pattern and practice of business. But what we had public hearings that were already noticed, and people were here and expected either a disposition to this case, either favorable or unfavorable. So those have been taken care of. The agenda items are now taken care of, and it looks like I am it. So anyone have anything to say? I don't know that I can adjourn. I guess I can adjourn the meeting. I'll recess it, yeah. There being no further business coming before me, this commission is not. What?
That's one thing, Commissioner. Steve had to leave out. His mom had a medical issue that he had to go attend to. But he didn't just drop you off. But Keegan Rawls, our new employee, he was going to introduce her this morning. Y'all just voted on her, welcome her to the county. Other than that, that's all we have.
We'll do that at a more formal and opportune time when we have someone besides me up here. Yeah, that's right. With no other business, this meeting is recessed until further notice.